Levack and Goss here with you on 104.5 The Team, and joining us on the phone lines, he's the author of the new book, In the Name of the Father, Family, Football, and the Manning Dynasty. Mark Ribonsky joins us here on the phone lines. And Mark, let's get into the topic. What intrigued you about covering and doing a book on the Manning family?
Well, it's sort of like they're the royalty of America. I mean, these kind of dynasties, family dynasties, are always, of great interest. Politics, the Bushes, right, and the Kennedys, and in sports, it's almost like, it's almost even more Camelot-like because of, the fable nature of sports, the way it grips people. And this is really not only the greatest sports dynasty in sports that I can think of anyway. It's a story of a Southern family dynasty. It might even be the last Southern family dynasty because of the changes in the South in the 20, 30 years of their run. So it really should be remembered as such within the culture of America and American sports. And I tried to write it almost like a novel, almost like a Tennessee Williams play or a Faulkner novel. Like a Cat on a Hot Tin Roof or something like that, because the characters are so distinct, they're so resonant. You even have a suicide in the story, the way they are in so many Tennessee Williams plays. Archie's father, Buddy. Archie found his father, Buddy, dead in their home, when Archie was 19, 1 year into his career at Ole Miss. He had shot himself with this elaborate contraption that he had rigged in the home, and he came home and Archie found him, and that was the day Archie Manning became a man. I mean, that was really the key to the ignition of Archie Manning. And I tried to, almost make it flow from that in the book, like a novel, because these are not ordinary people. I'm sure you'll agree.
Right, yeah,
these are very resonant people here with different personalities, and that's what makes it such good reading, I think.
It's absolutely fascinating, that story you just told there. I'm not sure how many sports fans even know that story. It's a lot of the things we could find out in the book coming out here. And let's stick with Archie Manning here. Did Archie have this idea to build this dynasty with his football-playing sons, that he had their future is going to be NFL football players at a high level?
Well, something was guiding him, because they had 3 sons and no daughters. It's like it was fated from above. Archie never would have thought in those terms. Archie's a very down-to-earth, very laconic, terse. He doesn't think in terms of, great storylines. He just was the dad. And he admitted to me he wasn't the greatest dad in the world. There were a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of ups and downs with his sons. And the real hero or heroine of the story is really their mother, Olivia, who very few people know. She's almost royalty. She's almost a queen in the way she brought up her 3 sons, which includes, by the way, the oldest one, Cooper, who was supposedly the best athlete of the 3. But unfortunately, after he had got enrolled at Ole Miss, to carry on Archie's tradition at Ole Miss, he was diagnosed with spinal stenosis and was never able to play again. Again, that Shakespearean tragedy element of the Mannings, And so I give Olivia at least as much credit as Archie for bringing up those boys. She did such a wonderful job.
The name of the book is In the Name of the Father, Family, Football, and the Manning Dynasty. The author, Mark Ribonsky, joining us here on the phone lines on 104.5 The Team. You've touched on Olivia, you've touched on Archie, Peyton, and Eli, and Cooper, and everybody else in this family. When you were researching this, did you find a story in particular that became your favorite story that you didn't even know about while you were working on this?
I love the fact that Cooper used to impersonate Peyton when he'd go to Tennessee to watch Peyton's games. Because they looked a lot more alike now. I mean, Cooper's the best looking, and he still is. I'm sure the other 2 would agree. But he used to look a lot like Peyton, and he'd walk around the campus, beer in hand, pretending to be drunk, and he would spout these awful, dirty lines, and people would think he was Peyton. That's the kind of humor that exists between the Manning brothers. You see it in those ESPN commercials, those dopey commercials where they're all in it, riffing on each other. Even with Archie, even in Archie in those commercials, and it's a very unique family. They're very close knit, but they didn't grow up close knit. Because Eli is 5 years younger than Peyton, and Peyton is 2 years younger than Cooper.
Right.
So there's a separation between the brothers, especially Eli. but they have this innate quality where, like, defending one is defending all three. It's like the Three Musketeers, you know? And I think Olivia, again, had a lot to do with that. And Archie later in his life became closer to his sons. I think it's wonderful that they're still so close-knit after all these years, that they haven't drifted apart. I think it's fantastic.
It absolutely is. I don't want to give away too much of the book, but for the future, I mean, we're talking about three sons of Archie Manning, and these guys are now all grown adults. Is the dynasty over with these guys, or could the next lineage of Mannings be in the NFL or have some type of professional background?
Well, again, the rumor is that Peyton is going to come back in some sort of ownership capacity. Wouldn't it be wonderful if after Eli retires, he and Eli pool their considerable fortunes and bought a team? I think that would be kind of unique to see what kind of coaches Peyton would hire and be able to keep from meddling, Jerry Jones style in the affairs of the team. As far as the dynasty continues, Eli's got 3 daughters, or 2 daughters, whatever, and Peyton's got 1 son. So maybe we haven't seen the last of it. We'll have to wait a few years for that. Do you know that in the last 47 years, there's been a Manning at quarterback in the NFL for 33 years?
Wow.
I mean, that's a dynasty right there.
It absolutely is. Now, Mark, it's such a fascinating topic, the Manning family. What's next for you? What's the next piece you're working on?
Well, I just finished a book a few days ago about Don Shula. It's sort of like falls in line with the other. My second book was about Al Davis many years ago, and I did a book on Tom Landry called The Last Cowboy about 5 years ago. And I thought Don Shula would almost be like the third of the Trinity, the Holy Trinity of the modernizing of pro football ownership, which leads to the Jerry Jones kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So we're calling the Shula thing possibly the last American hero, because he really is at 88, the last of that generation, the Paul Brown, Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry generation. So I thought that was a nice way to close the circle. A lot of these guys, we don't know them anymore. Like, we don't know Archie Manning that well. We don't even know Vince Lombardi that well anymore, because the way things change, the attention span in sports is very slight.
Yeah, the young sports fans got to definitely grab that and learn more about these guys who were giants in the game. They really were. These were the biggest faces in the NFL, and just time has kind of passed by that. It's Mark Ribonsky, the book In the Name of the Father, Football, Family, and the Manning Dynasty. And where can people here in the Capital Region, upstate New York, find it? Where's it available right now?
Well, I hope in whatever bookstores are left on the earth, Barnes & Noble, the old brick-and-mortar stores. But you could also, of course, go to Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com and Goodreads and, all those online sites. And, you could probably find it anywhere, you look for books. Let's hope so, anyway. I'm hoping that.
Mark, we appreciate your time, man. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk again soon.
I'm selling them out of the back of my trunk, too, if you're interested. So,
I'll grab that copy very soon, right out of the back of your trunk. Mark, appreciate it, man.
All right.